Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing great, having a good start to your week. Um, Wanted to do another take of Mindful Monday. And, for those of you, maybe this is the first time hearing this, I'm recording this video once a week, basically going over a quote related to mindfulness and, sort of philosophical thinking, if you will, and giving my thoughts on it, and then opening it up for anybody else to chime in the comments on what their takeaways, good or bad, recommendations for things to talk about in the future, etc. So this is for you guys. This is also for me to ponder these topics and continue working on my personal development journey as well. So anyways, I'll get started. Last week's Mindful Monday topic or quote was, "In anger, we should refrain both from speech and action." So that was last week's, and if you want to hear that one, just go back down in my feed and you'll see it there, and you can have a listen and comment. And so this week, and I read off these little cards. And so this week is, as long as you are fighting something, you are giving it power. As long as you are fighting something, you are giving it power. And then on the back of this card, there's always a question. So the question for this week to ponder is, what do I need to accept in order to take my power back? This one I've thought about a lot. I read this yesterday to myself, and I've given some time to think. And I could go a number of ways with this. It overlaps with a lot of the previous talks and conversations that we've had on Mindful Monday. For example, one thing is, if somebody is being rude to you, being mean to you, or what have you, is somebody else is in the wrong, right? It's really easy to respond back and meet them with that same negativity. And so I think that is in line with this statement, right? You're fighting something. You're fighting back. You're fighting that negativity with more negativity. And all that does is give it power. And usually it doesn't end well. I mean, look, we're in an election period, right? Everybody knows this. We have an election coming up in a couple of weeks. The country is very divided on this topic. I used to get very heated on these conversations, very heated, because I felt very passionately on one side versus the other. What I realized is, the more I argue with people about this, it never solves the problem, especially with politics. You could probably say the same about religion, right? It's never constructive, because everybody has very strong feelings on something, and some of it maybe is based on facts, but a lot of it's based on feelings and emotions and their experiences and their take on things and their ways of interpreting certain things. And who am I to say that I'm right, they're wrong, or vice versa? But the point is, me arguing with them gets us nowhere. It's feeding negativity with negativity. And that always blows up in my face. And maybe you have the same experience. I don't know. I'd love to hear what your experience has been with that, or maybe some other examples of this. But this is the thing that comes to mind with it being a time of an election. And maybe some of you hearing this are some of those people that I used to argue with, and I want to just say I apologize for that. No matter who was right, who was wrong, does not matter. Like I shouldn't have even went there in the first place. So I've made it a deal just not to post anything political on Facebook. I made it. That's something that I agreed to never do. I want to be posting positive things on Facebook. There's too much negativity out there. There's too many things where people, get emotional and get hurt. Just getting in these arguments, it pulls families apart. And that's what I see when I read this card. As long as you're fighting something, you're giving it power, right? You're fighting the opposition of what you strongly feel, whether or not that's right or wrong. You're fighting the opposition, and therefore you're giving the opposition power, and all it does is refuel your opposition and your anger and your frustration and negativity. What good does that even do? Not only for the other person, what good does that do for you? It doesn't do you any good. All it's going to do is increase your stress, increase your frustration. And I've got better things that I'm working on. I don't need more stress, more frustration in my life. So going back to the question, what do I need to accept in order to take back my power? Well, I'm going to accept that half this country's divided, and I'm going to accept that half of us have different views, and I'm going to accept that I may be wrong. I certainly don't know everything, and I'm also going to accept that nothing I say is going to change your mind about what you think politically. It's just not, right? Unless I was you've got actors, actresses, famous sports, famous athletes, like speaking what they believe for whatever political side they believe in. That doesn't change anything, right? It really doesn't. A lot of times those individuals can have a significant influence, and when it comes to politics and religion, it just, for whatever reason, doesn't have that same effect. If they can't do it, I'm not going to waste my energy on that, especially with the risk of increasing my stress and frustration, and with the risk of losing friendships, burning relationships with family members. So we can have a heated debate, but offline, we can do that for the purpose of, but with an understanding that the purpose is just to communicate our side, so the other person might at least see where we're coming from, but not for the purpose of bashing the other side, telling them they're wrong, telling them they're stupid, right? Whatever the case may be, that should never be the purpose if you ever even have these conversations. And maybe for some people, it's best not to have those conversations. That's just where I take this card. I would love to hear from you guys. What does this card mean to you? What comes to mind? So when you hear, as long as you are fighting something, you are giving it power. What do you hear? What does that mean to you? Please share, because that might spark an idea in somebody else's mind that might be really impactful for them. It might be something that they need to hear right now in their life. Please share in the comments. Please like the video if you liked the video, and again, put any suggestions in the chat. I'm an open book. I'm open to messages and Messenger. I'm open to setting up a call outside of this if anybody wants to chat about some of these ideas that I'm talking about. So please reach out. Don't be shy, and have a great rest of your week. All right, talk to you soon.